Welcome, everyone, to a brand new session of what we like to call Deep Insight Dialogues. We're here to cut through the noise, really distill the wisdom, and help you get crystal clear on some truly impactful ideas. Today, we're diving headfirst into a topic that is, well, it's the lifeblood of any business, big or small. How to get strangers to actually want to buy your stuff. We're talking about leads, but not just any leads, right? We mean engaged leads. And crucially, how to get an abundance of them. Our mission, as always, is to take these incredible insights of the source material and just pull out the most important nuggets of knowledge, give you that aha moment. Think of it as your personal shortcut to being incredibly well-informed, maybe with a few surprising facts and just enough humor to keep you hooked.
Indeed. And our journey today is guided by a pretty remarkable resource, Alex Hormozi's 100M Leads. How to get strangers to want to buy your stuff. And this isn't just theory, it's built on what actually worked for him, aiming to work even better for you. Alex Hormozi, he's known for his very direct, no-nonsense approach and, frankly, an incredible track record. His holding company, acquisition.com, has this portfolio of businesses generating over $250 million in annual revenue. They're acquiring, get this, 20,000-plus leads daily, selling offers from, $1 up to over $1 million.
Wow, 20,000 leads a day is staggering.
It really is. And personally, he boasts a 36-to-1 lifetime return on advertising. I mean, he built his wealth using these exact methods, surpassed $100 million in net worth by age 32 back in 2022 U.S. dollars.
A 36-to-1 return on advertising.
Yeah.
It's just truly staggering. It really underscores the practical, results-driven nature of his advice, doesn't it?
So what's his underlying philosophy for sharing all this knowledge, given, such massive success? Well, what's fascinating here is how he directly challenges you, the listener. He says, quote, "As for why you should blindly listen to me about getting more leads, don't. Make up your own darn mind."
Huh. I like that.
Yeah, it immediately sets this tone of empowerment, right? Critical thinking. It encourages you to really engage with the material, not just, passively absorb it. He also frames his books to be, as he puts it, short in length, simple in words, and with lots of pictures. He actually likens his reading preferences to a child's because of a short attention span.
That's quite humble, actually.
It is. And that humility in communication makes these really complex topics surprisingly accessible. He's trying to simplify what can feel, let's be honest, like a pretty overwhelming subject. The core idea is he wants you to understand and apply it, not just memorize stuff.
Make up your own darn mind. It's refreshing, isn't it? And it immediately builds a bit of trust, invites you into the conversation rather than just lecturing. So let's unpack this with our deep insight dialogue. Let's start with the core problem that leads actually solve and Hormozi's very personal, very intense journey to understanding their power.
Absolutely. So Hormozi lays out this foundational truth for any business.
Yeah.
You have to sell stuff to make money. Simple, right?
Seems obvious, yeah.
But he points out many people try to skip straight to the make money part. They neglect the essential steps. He boils it down to a simple three-part equation. You need an offer, you need leads, and you need sales. In that order. Without leads, which are basically people with a problem you can solve, and the money to spend everything just grinds to a halt.
And it's not just about abstract business concepts, is it? He paints a really vivid picture of the personal pull, the emotional weight. He talks about scrambling to cover rent, worrying about laying off employees, maybe struggling to put food on the table. He describes it as feeling like death when you're working your absolute hardest but seeing no tangible results. That feeling of going under,
Yeah.
of others judging your efforts.
Yeah.
That's a profound, relatable struggle for so many entrepreneurs.
Precisely. And to really drive this point home, he shares this little jingle from his own family. It's hard to be poor with leads banging down your door.
That's memorable.
It is, isn't it? It just perfectly emphasizes the immediate tangible impact that having leads has on daily life, on mental well-being. It takes it beyond abstract business concepts and right into the very real stakes involved for you as a business owner. The core insight, really, is that leads aren't just numbers on a spreadsheet. They are the direct path to peace of mind and, ultimately, business survival.
That jingle really sticks with you, captures that direct link between leads and peace of mind perfectly. But this personal struggle, as you said, it wasn't theoretical for Hormozi. It's rooted in some very real, very painful experiences. Which brings us to a really critical moment in his journey, this catastrophic March 2017 refund crisis.
Yeah, a truly, truly harrowing experience. Hormozi and his then-girlfriend and business partner, Layla, they're married now, faced a staggering $150,000 in refund. Just boom.
Right.
Wiped out all their money.
Right.
Completely.
After a successful month, too.
Exactly. Despite having a previously successful month, it just pushed them right back to square one. Suddenly, he needed to generate $150,000 in profit, not just revenue, within 30 days. And get this, with absolutely no money to his name and zero prior experience doing anything like that in that time frame.
That's just unbelievable pressure. The kind of scenario that forces truly radical thinking, I imagine.
Yep.
His initial ideas, you mentioned, were pretty conventional: upfront fees, percentages, selling supplements, but none of that would cut it for that scale that quickly.
Yeah.
How did this extreme pressure become a catalyst for, groundbreaking solutions?
Well, the emotional intensity is palpable when he recounts it. Layla delivered the disaster news very calmly, he says, while his own voice just failed him. The thought of not being able to pay their friends, people who'd quit their jobs for this venture, filled him with this physical sickness. It paints a really vivid picture of the sheer weight of that responsibility.
Oh, absolutely.
The core insight here, I think, is that sometimes extreme pressure isn't just a challenge, it's a crucible. It forges entirely new, innovative approaches, precisely because conventional thinking just isn't an option anymore.
What a gut punch. You can almost feel the despair just hearing about it.
But hang on, how did he even get into a position where he had this gym launch model that could then cause such a crisis? It seems like it started with an unexpected discovery years earlier.
Indeed. Years before this crisis, Hormozi was already quite skilled at getting leads for his own gyms. He'd opened 5 locations, filled them to capacity in just 3 years. He had developed this advertising method that, honestly, he thought was pretty common, nothing special.
Right. But then he spoke at a conference about it, and it just generated this mob of interest. Over 100 people left their contact info, desperately wanting him to teach them his process.
He describes being bombarded, even in the bathroom after his talk, feeling like a celebrity. That anecdote really brings to life that surprising, intense validation of his skills. What's the core insight there for entrepreneurs who might be overlooking their own unique value?
It really demonstrates the power of solving a clear, pressing problem in this case, getting gym members, and the innate demand that exists for replicable, proven systems. The core insight is what you perceive as normal or unremarkable about your own process might be precisely what others desperately need and value. Never underestimate the unique value you've built through your own problem solving.
Absolutely, that's a great point. So this initial, almost accidental success sparked an idea that soon morphed into a full-fledged business model: gym launch. And his offer, it sounds incredibly compelling. I'll fill your gym in 30 days for free. You pay nothing. I pay for everything. I sell new members and keep the first 6 weeks of membership fees as payment. You get everything else. Oh, I mean, that sounds like an offer so good people would feel stupid saying no, like he says later about lead magnets.
It was incredibly effective. He sold his own gyms because this model worked so well. Then he saw what he perceived as a problem. He was filling these gyms, but they were keeping all the long-term profits. He felt like he was leaving too much money on the table. This led him to pivot. He decided to go for a partnership model, aiming for 50-50 ownership in the gyms he launched. But this is where a crucial, incredibly painful lesson came into play, what he calls paying an ignorance tax. He chose a partner with, let's say, poor financials, who had even been indicted for fraud previously.
Oh, wow. And Alex knew this.
He knew about it, yes, but apparently believed it was just a misunderstanding. Big mistake.
Okay, that's a huge red flag that was seemingly ignored. What was the fallout from that decision? How did it play out?
Well, Alex, in his maybe generosity and trust, paid all the expenses for their first launch under this new partnership. He personally guaranteed the lease. He poured all the money from selling his own gyms, his entire life savings into this new venture.
Oh, no.
A few weeks later, halfway through the launch, he wakes up, checks the account, and all the money is gone. His partner had drained $150,000, accused Alex of stealing, and then filed for bankruptcy.
Unbelievable. Everything he made from selling his gyms, his life savings, gone. He says 4 years of work, saving, sleeping on the floor, erased. That's just a gut-wrenching description of loss. What's the profound lesson for us as entrepreneurs from this ignorance tax?
It's such a crucial cautionary tale, isn't it? About the allure of quick scaling versus the hidden, potentially devastating risks of unvetted partnerships. The core insight is really that famous saying: when money meets experience, the money gets the experience, and the experience gets the money. But here, maybe it's when money meets poor due diligence or misplaced trust.
The money definitely gets the experience.
Yes. It just underscores that business success isn't just about strategy, it's also about rigorous risk management, especially when emotions or personal relationships might cloud your judgment on critical decisions.
Absolutely. Yet even in this crushing defeat, there was that beacon of hope, that supportive partner, Layla. You mentioned she had actually opposed the bad partnership, but she never once said, "I told you so," which is amazing. Instead, she offered practical encouragement. "The gym launch model is still good. Let's do more of those." That's incredible support in the face of such a disaster.
Her unwavering support and pragmatic advice were absolutely critical at that moment. They then took these truly desperate measures. They started putting $3,300 per day on a credit card.
Per day.
Wow.
Per day. Covering ads, airfare, hotels, rental cars for 6 sales reps who were actually Layla's friends they recruited. In the first month, they launched 6 gyms, collected just enough, $100,117, to barely cover the $100,000 credit card bill. So, still broke.
Still broke.
But the next month, they made $177,399, netting maybe $30,000 to $40,000 in profit. This gave them some much-needed breathing room, right before that initial $150,000 refund bomb hit them again from earlier issues.
That constant cycle of near disaster and recovery sounds absolutely exhausting, but it really highlights the importance of resilient partnerships, doesn't it? And the power of focusing on what did work, even amidst overwhelming failure. What was the ultimate breakthrough that emerged from this continuous struggle?
Well, this brings us right to that pivotal moment he calls the birth of a $60,000 day. He's in the depths of the $150K refund crisis, planning to pivot entirely away from gyms to online fitness sales. He's actually canceling existing gym launches. But then he gets this call from a desperate gym owner in Boise, Idaho. The guy's on the verge of losing his home, his business, everything. Oh, man.
He begs Alex, "Just teach me the gym launch system, I'll pay you $6,000. Alex reluctantly agrees, still thinking the future is online weight loss.
Yeah.
That's the turning point, the accidental discovery, right? He was so focused on what he thought they should be doing, he almost missed what the market was screaming for. How did that accidental $60,000 day truly shift his perspective on his existing gym launch model? What did he realize was the core, scalable asset he had all along?
Well, that unexpected $6,000 sale immediately spurred him to call the other gyms they were supposed to launch. When they asked the price for the materials, he just threw out $8,000 in the first call. They said yes.
Just like that.
Just like that. On the next call, he upped it to $10,000. They agreed again. In a single day, he collected $60,000 just by selling the licensing for his launch materials, with zero cost to fulfill. The profound realization hit him. We've had something here all along. We just had to put the pieces together. The core insight was the immense value of intellectual property and scalable knowledge. Sometimes the solution isn't a totally new direction, but simply a new way of delivering an existing, proven solution.
That's a classic example, isn't it? How deeply listening to customer pain points can reveal entirely new, highly profitable business models. It really challenges the idea that entrepreneurs must always chase the next big thing. Sometimes reimagining your existing value can be even more powerful. But this incredible turnaround wasn't just luck, was it? It feels like the culmination of all those painful lessons and an evolving business philosophy. So let's transition from Hormozi's personal crucible to the enduring philosophy that emerged from it. What's the core of his business model and mission now?
Well, Hormozi's business model today is remarkably simple, really. And it's built on this philosophy of abundance and long-term value. It basically has 4 key steps.
Yeah.
1, provide better free products than what others are charging for. 2, earn the trust of entrepreneurs who are already making over $1 million in annual profit. 3, invest in those entrepreneurs to help fast-track their growth. And 4, help everyone else for free. For good.
Help everyone else for free.
For good, yeah. This model is really a testament to his belief that businesses solve problems, they make the world better, which is why he shares his frameworks instead of hoarding them. The core insight here is pretty powerful. Massive generosity isn't just, good karma. It's a highly effective, long-term business strategy.
That's a really interesting give until they ask philosophy. He's essentially reverse engineering success, right? By being so confident in the value he provides for free, he knows the most successful entrepreneurs will eventually seek him out for his paid offers like the investment.
Exactly. It creates immense goodwill and naturally attracts these really high-quality partners. And the data backs it up, too. Acquisition.com's average portfolio company sees 1.8x revenue and over 3x profits in the first 12 months. And it gets even better. 2.3x revenue, and nearly 5x profits between 12 and 24 months. These results make his free offerings incredibly compelling because they demonstrate the efficacy before anyone pays a dime.
At the heart of this philosophy, then, it's not just about getting any leads, is it? It's something much more specific he focuses on.
You've hit on a really critical concept: engaged leads. Hormozi emphasizes again and again, leads alone aren't enough, you need engaged leads.
Hmm.
An engaged lead is someone who has actively shown interest in what you sell. They've signaled they have a problem you can solve, and, crucially, the money to spend on it. The core insight here is that focusing on quality over sheer quantity dramatically reduces wasted effort and massively increases your conversion efficiency down the line.
So it's all about quality and intent, not just volume. That feels particularly vital in today's, information-saturated world. Getting true, meaningful engagement is more valuable than ever. It avoids wasting effort on unqualified prospects, makes advertising far more efficient. Like you said, quality over quantity.
Exactly right. So the big question then is, how do you get people to engage? It starts with something universally appealing. Value, genuine value. Hormozi's accidental discovery, remember? People didn't want his webinar, but they did want his case study taught him that core principle. You have to give people something they want. No. He advises making your lead magnet, your free offer, so insanely good people will feel stupid saying no.
That phrase really sticks. It underlines the psychological aspect, doesn't it? It's not about tricking people into giving you their info. It's about genuinely providing such high value up front that it builds trust and demonstrates your competence before any money changes hands. And he's got a clear blueprint for this, right? A 7-step process to creating an effective lead magnet. Let's walk through some of the most impactful steps.
Absolutely. The first critical step, figure out the problem you want to solve and who to solve it for, is all about picking a narrow and meaningful problem for a specific audience. The brilliance here is the problem-solution cycle he talks about. When you solve that narrow problem with your lead magnet, a new, larger problem often reveals itself naturally.
Ah, okay. And that new problem is what your core paid offer should then solve. For instance, his book 100M Leads, the one we're discussing, acts as a lead magnet. It solves the engaged lead problem for businesses maybe under $1 profit. Once they achieve that, guess what? They have new, bigger problems like scaling operations or managing teams. And his core offer is investing in their company to help solve those problems.
That's a really smart way to think about it, that problem-solution cycle, naturally leading people to your core offering. And the second step is figuring out how to solve that initial narrow problem with 3 types of lead magnets he identifies. What are the key distinctions there?
Yeah, the 3 main categories are reveal problems, which is like a diagnosis, samples and trials, and one step of a multi-step process. So reveal problems create urgency by exposing hidden issues that often get worse over time. Think like a website speed test showing a client's site loads 30% below optimal that immediately highlights lost revenue.
Okay, creates instant pain. Exactly. Samples and trials offer a taste of a recurring solution, like giving a client temporary access to a faster server. They experience the benefit directly before committing. And one step of a multi-step process gives valuable partial solutions, like a free finance course that's genuinely helpful, but also subtly reveals the immense time and effort required to DIY the whole thing.
Leading them to want the full service.
Precisely, leading to an offer for comprehensive financial services. The core insight is understanding which type of lead magnet aligns best with your audience's specific problem, and your core offer dramatically increases its effectiveness.
Okay, so we figured out the problem, the who, and the how, the type of lead magnet. Another crucial step he highlights is make it easy to consume. This feels intuitively right, but what's the actual impact he found on engagement?
It's huge. People inherently prefer less effort, right? Hormozi points out that simply making your lead magnet easier to consume can literally double, triple, or even quadruple the take rates in consumption.
4 times, just by making it easier.
Yeah. This means offering things in multiple formats: images, video, text, audio. Making physical products simple to order, open, and use with clear directions. Services should be available at more times and more ways: video calls, phone, in person.
Yeah.
He gives this compelling example with his other book, 100M Offers. It has a near-perfect quarter split in consumption between the free ebook, physical book, audiobook, and videos available on acquisition.com. Making it available in all those formats yielded, he says, 2, 3, 4x the leads for basically the same amount of work creating the core content, the core insight. Accessibility isn't just nice to have, it's a massive multiplier for your efforts.
A 2 to 4x multiplier just from optimizing the format. That's really compelling. And it leads perfectly into his next point about making it darn good, which often means giving away your best secrets, doesn't it? That feels counterintuitive for some.
It does, but step 6 is critical. Make it darn good. Give away the secrets. Sell the implementation. His point is the marketplace judges everything you offer, whether it's free or paid. The goal is to provide so much genuine value in your free stuff that people feel almost obligated to pay you later. You want to exceed the perceived cost of your core offer before they even buy it.
Wow.
Being scared to give away your secrets just leads to, as he puts it, sucky fluff, which actively destroys your reputation. He illustrates this powerfully. If a company scales from $1 into $10 just by consuming his free content, the chance they'll partner with acquisition.com later is huge because he feels he's already paid his share in value upfront. The core insight here is that abundant giving builds profound long-term trust and maybe even a sense of reciprocity that often leads directly to future business.
That's a powerful way to frame the long-term ROI. And finally, step 7, make it easy for them to tell you they want more. Call to action CTA. This is about clearly guiding people to the next step, right?
Absolutely crucial. Once someone consumes your awesome lead magnet, they need a clear, unmissable CTA. What exactly do you want them to do? Call, click, book a demo, and why should they do it now? This is where you use levers like scarcity, a limited number available, urgency, a time-limited offer, and bonuses, an extra incentive for acting fast. He even mentions these funny fraternity party planner reasons, basically saying any reason is better than no reason at all.
Like what?
Like, because moms know best, or because it's my birthday. He cites a Harvard experiment showing that providing any reason, even a nonsensical one like because I have to make copies, significantly increases compliance for cutting in line.
That's fascinating about human psychology. Just providing a reason works.
It does. The core insight, a clear, compelling, and urgent call to action is absolutely essential to convert that initial interest into the next step in your sales process.
Okay, that's a great breakdown of the lead magnet blueprint. And then he connects all this to a really surprising financial benefit. How spending money on a lead magnet, say $25, can actually cut your customer acquisition cost, or CAC, by 3x. How does that work?
This is one of those counterintuitive but highly effective strategies he outlines. Advertising a really good free lead magnet can attract maybe 10 times more engaged leads for the same ad cost compared to directly advertising your core paid offer. So even if that lead magnet costs you $25 to deliver, maybe it's a physical book or a sample, it can dramatically reduce your overall CAC. He gives an example where it drops from, say, $3,000 down to $1,000.
Wow, a 3x improvement.
Exactly. Effectively, this can triple your business volume for the same advertising budget. The core insight is that strategically spending money on delivering high-value free offers can be significantly more profitable and scalable than trying to sell directly to a cold audience right away.
That's a potential game changer for many businesses, showing how front-loading value can dramatically improve downstream efficiency and profitability. Okay, let's unpack this further then. With that foundational understanding of engaged leads and the power of a compelling lead magnet, Hormozi then breaks down the only 4 ways a single person can actually advertise their stuff. He calls these the core 4, and he argues that mastering them is like having a get-out-of-jail-free card for your business if you're stuck.
What's truly fascinating here, again, is how he simplifies the often complex world of advertising. It's brilliant, really. He combines 2 audience types, warm, people who know you, and cold, strangers, with 2 communication methods, one-to-one, which is private, and one-to-many, which is public, and boom, he arrives at just 4 fundamental strategies. That clarity is a massive help for anyone feeling overwhelmed by all the marketing options out there.
So what are the 4?
He explicitly states these are the only 4 things you can do to let other people know about what you sell: warm outreach, posting content, cold outreach, and paid ads. That's it. The core insight is powerful. If you're not getting enough leads, you're either not doing one or more of these 4 things with enough skill, or you're not doing them with enough volume. Or maybe both.
That's incredibly simplifying. It really boils all marketing down to its absolute essence. Let's start with the first one then. Warm outreach.
Right. Warm outreach is basically one-to-one contact with your warm audience. Think friends, family, followers, past customers, any personal contacts you have. He argues it's the cheapest, easiest, and often the most effective way to start getting leads, yet most businesses completely neglect it.
Really, they just ignore it.
Pretty much. Hormozi himself built his very first business, making $4,000 a month by simply reaching out to just 6 friends initially and then asking them for referrals. The core insight here is that your existing network is an untapped goldmine of potential leads, largely because there's already trust built in.
Okay, that makes sense. He lays out a 10-step process for this, but let's focus on the most impactful elements. How do you actually approach people in your warm network without feeling awkward or like you're just trying to sell them something?
That's the key, right? Avoiding the cringe factor. One really impactful element he suggests is the ACA framework for just acting like a normal human. Acknowledge what they said, compliment them, ideally tying it to a positive character trait, and then ask another question that naturally leads the conversation toward your offer. For example, oh wow, 2 kids and you're an accountant, supermom. You must be so hardworking, managing a full-time career and 2 kids. Do you ever get any time for yourself?
Yeah.
It fosters a genuine conversation first.
Okay, that feels much more natural.
Another key part is to invite their friends without directly asking them to buy. Instead, you ask if they happen to know anyone who fits your ideal customer profile and struggles with a specific problem you solve. You frame it around genuinely wanting to help people achieve a dream outcome without all the usual effort and sacrifice. The core insight is that building rapport and offering value, or offering a solution to their friend's friend, is far more effective and comfortable than a direct sales pitch to a personal contact.
That ACA framework sounds incredibly useful for just about any social interaction, honestly, not just sales. He also emphasizes making it really easy for them to say yes, even suggesting making the initial offer free sometimes.
Exactly, especially for new products or services. Offer the first few spots, maybe the first 5, for free. But in exchange, you ask for usage data, honest feedback, and maybe a review or testimonial if they're happy. This is invaluable because, 1, it helps you get your reps in delivering the service. 2, you gather crucial feedback for improvement. 3, you generate testimonials. And 4, it often attracts referrals naturally. Hormozi notes that people are far more forgiving of hiccups when you haven't charged them anything and you learn a ton from these initial guinea pigs.
Right.
The core insight, free trials and working with early adopters, aren't just about making sales. They're absolutely vital for product refinement and building that initial reputation.
That's a really comprehensive approach to leveraging your existing network. What kind of benchmarks, roughly, can a listener expect if they really commit to warm outreach?
He gives some rough numbers. Warm outreach should typically yield about 1 in 5 contacts actually engaging in a conversation, so maybe 20 replies per 100 reach outs. Of those who reply, perhaps 1 in 5 will take you up on a free offer, like that free trial. So that's 4 people. And out of those 4, you should aim to convert 1 into a paying customer. So very roughly, 1 customer per 100 reach outs.
Yeah.
He estimates that this process alone, done consistently, can lead to over $104,000 per year, with just a $400 offer and hitting around 500 reach outs per week.
Wow, that's potentially 6 figures just from warm outreach.
Yeah. The core insight is that warm outreach is a highly profitable, very accessible starting point for almost any business, especially when you're just starting out or launching something new.
That's incredible potential for a starting method. But it does have its limitations, right? You can't just do that forever.
Exactly. The 2 main limitations are, 1, time it requires significant, consistent effort, maybe 4 hours a day minimum, he suggests, especially initially. And 2, you eventually run out of your immediate warm contacts. You need to broaden your reach. Which leads us perfectly into the second of the core 4 advertising methods, posting free content.
Yeah, okay, let's dive into content. Now, Hormozi actually initially thought, as he admits, that making content was kind of a stupid waste of time because it just, disappears into the feed. What changed his mind about the value of creating free content?
Yeah, his epiphany on this was pretty profound. He realized the content you create isn't the compounding asset the audience is.
Ah, the audience.
The audience. He realized that even if individual content pieces have a short lifespan, consistently posting valuable free content grows your warm audience. And that growing audience is the true compounding asset over time. This makes all your other advertising methods, like warm outreach or even paid ads, more effective. Why? Because when you reach out to someone or they see your ad and they click on your profile and find a wealth of genuinely useful, valuable content related to your services, they are far more likely to trust you and eventually buy.
Okay, that makes sense.
The core insight, content isn't just about the piece itself. It's a strategic tool to build a loyal, engaged audience, and that audience is your real compounding asset.
So it's a strategic long game play, building that asset.
Yeah.
But what's the most effective way to actually structure content so it truly engages people and eventually helps convert them?
He breaks it down into what he calls a content unit. It has 3 core components: hook, retain, and reward. The hook is all about grabbing attention immediately, redirecting their focus from whatever else they were doing. It's measured by how many people actually start consuming your content. Think compelling topics, killer headlines, strong opening lines.
Okay, hook.
Then, retain. This is about keeping their attention once you have it. You do this through mechanisms like using lists, breaking things into steps, telling engaging stories, creating curiosity gaps, making them want to see what happens next. And finally, reward. This means satisfying the reason the content hooked them in the first place. You need to match or, ideally, exceed their expectations. The ultimate measure of success for your content strategy as a whole. Audience growth. Are more people following you, subscribing, engaging over time?
Hook, retain, reward. Simple framework.
Yeah. The core insight is that effective content isn't just about dumping information. It's about crafting an engaging journey that genuinely helps the audience and leaves them wanting more, specifically from you.
He also mentions this slight but significant tweak on the traditional give-ask strategy in content. He calls it give until they ask. That sounds pretty radical.
It is, isn't it? Think about it. People online are always braced for the sales pitch, right? They're waiting for you to ask for money. Hormozi argues that when you consistently don't ask, when you just keep providing immense value publicly, their trust in you grows significantly. They start sharing your content more, your audience grows faster, and eventually, he explains, it makes people feel almost uncomfortable continuously receiving all this value without giving something back. So they proactively go to your website, or they slide into your DMs, or they email you to ask about your paid offers.
So they initiate the sale, essentially.
Exactly. The core insight. By consistently providing immense value publicly without asking for anything in return, you build such profound trust and reciprocity that people will proactively seek out ways to pay you.
That's a powerful, almost counterintuitive way to build a really loyal audience and qualified leads. He also gives some key content wisdoms based on his experience. What's one that really stands out for maybe being counterintuitive or challenging common assumptions?
One that really stood out to me is his take. People don't have shorter attention spans, higher standards.
Ooh, I like that rephrase.
It's a powerful reframe, isn't it? He argues there's no such thing as content that's too long, only too boring. I mean, look at streaming platforms. People will happily binge watch hours and hours of a show if it's genuinely engaging and rewarding. The challenge isn't really our collective attention span. It's competing with the sheer volume of other, potentially more rewarding content options available. So the focus must always be on making truly good, genuinely engaging content.
That makes so much sense.
Yeah. The core insight, the perceived attention span crisis, is perhaps better understood as a quality and relevance crisis in content creation. Make it good, and they'll pay attention.
Very true. So for content, what are the key benchmarks for success then, if it's not just likes or views?
He suggests focusing on two main things. Overall audience size, your total followers or reach across platforms, and critically, the growth rate of that audience measured maybe monthly. He emphasizes focusing on consistent inputs, your posting cadence, your asking cadence, if you choose to ask sometimes, because ultimately you can only control what you put in. The audience growth is the output that tells you if the inputs are working. The core insight, if your audience is consistently growing over time, your content strategy is fundamentally working.
Okay, that covers content. So warm outreach and content, he suggests, can potentially build a solid 6 or even 7-figure business. But to go faster or bigger, you need to venture into cold audiences, right? Strangers. Let's move to the third of the core 4.
Cold outreach.
Right. Hormozi actually shares that he learned about a competitor making millions primarily from private advertising, basically. Cold outreach, which directly inspired him to build his own cold outreach machine. So cold outreach is private, one-to-one communication with a cold audience, strangers who don't know you yet. He stresses that it's definitely more advanced than warm outreach. It requires overcoming 3 brand new problems you don't have with warm contacts. 1, finding their contact information. 2, getting their attention when they have no reason to give it. And 3, generating interest quickly from a place of zero trust. He also notes, importantly, that it took him almost a full year to really scale his cold outreach effectively, not the optimistic 12 weeks he initially hoped for. So setting proper expectations is key.
A year? Okay, good to know.
Yeah. The core insight, though, is that cold outreach done right allows for incredible precision in targeting. You can pick exactly who you want to reach, turning complete strangers into genuinely engaged leads if you approach it strategically and persistently.
So it's a numbers game, but with incredible precision, as you said. You could target, like, hedge fund managers managing over $1 billion, if that's your audience. What's the single biggest challenge with cold outreach, given they're strangers, and how does he suggest overcoming it to actually get their attention?
The biggest challenge, hands down, is the complete lack of pre-existing trust. They don't know you, they don't owe you anything, especially not their attention. The solution he proposes is twofold. Personalize, then give big, fast value. First, you have to do at least a little bit of research on each lead to personalize your outreach. Show you haven't just spammed a list. Then you need to deliver what he calls big, fast value, something that genuinely blows their minds in under 30 seconds.
Wow, 30 seconds.
Yeah, it has to be quick and impactful. And critically, this means giving away something that people actually pay for, not just something you think is so good they should pay for it. It needs real, tangible value. He shares a great phone script example where the caller starts by mentioning specific research they did on the prospect's dog training blog, compliments it genuinely, and then offers a proven campaign, one that got a similar business 100 appointments in 30 days. They offer to share how they did it.
Okay, that's very different from, can I have 15 minutes to pitch you?
Worlds different. The core insight is that genuine, personalized value, delivered incredibly quickly, is practically the only way to cut through the noise, earn a moment of attention, and begin building a sliver of trust with a completely cold audience.
That's a huge distinction, offering a real valuable insight or service upfront versus just a thinly veiled sales pitch disguised as a strategy session. What are some of the maybe less obvious, unexpected benefits of mastering cold outreach that make it worth the considerable effort involved?
He lists 7 really compelling benefits. Let me highlight a few key ones. First, he says it's incredibly reliable. Once you build a system, predictable inputs, like number of calls or emails sent, lead to predictable outputs, number of leads or appointments. It becomes like clockwork for lead generation.
Reliability is huge for planning.
Huge. Second, it often offers higher margins. Why? Because there's generally less direct competition for attention in private channels compared to public ones like social media feeds or search results. This can lead to lower customer acquisition costs. And third, maybe most intriguingly, it's hard to copy. Many of the steps, like how you scrape lists, your personalization techniques, the software you use, the team you build, are invisible to competitors. This makes it a very defensible lead generation strategy long term.
That's a powerful set of advantages: reliability, higher margins, and defensibility. Makes the effort seem very worthwhile if you commit to it.
Absolutely. The core insight. Cold outreach, while demanding significant upfront effort and systemization, offers unparalleled control, predictability, and long-term strategic advantage for lead generation.
Okay, that's a strong case for cold outreach. Now let's turn to the last of the core 4 advertising methods: paid ads. The one everyone thinks of, maybe.
Right, paid ads. This is your classic one-to-many communication, but aimed at a cold, generally lower trust audience compared to your warm list or followers. Hormozi shares his own first experience back in June 2013. He ran what he calls the ugliest ad you've ever seen, literally just all cap yes text, but it turned $5,700 in sales, netting him a $2,500 profit share. Not bad for an ugly ad.
Not bad at all.
The key principle here is that the lack of initial trust inherent in reaching a cold audience is overcome primarily by putting your offer in front of a massive volume of people. You're sifting through the haystack. He notes that scaling ads often means efficiency might decrease slightly. Your cost per lead might go up a bit as you reach broader audiences, but your total profit increases significantly because of the volume.
Finding those needles in the haystack at scale.
Exactly. The core insight. Paid ads are fundamentally about leveraging volume to find qualified buyers within a large, cold audience, accepting potentially lower efficiency for much higher overall profit potential.
He simplifies the approach to actually creating effective paid ads into a 3-part framework for what your ad should say. Can you walk us through that?
Yeah, it's a clear and useful structure. Call out plus value plus call to action, CTA. First, the call out. This is purely about getting the right people to stop scrolling and notice your ad. He says the first 5 seconds are everything, suggesting you put 80% of your creative effort into the headline and that initial hook. The goal is for your ideal prospect to think, wait, this is for me, I should pay attention.
Call out,
Yeah.
Got it.
Second, the value section. This answers the crucial question. Okay, you have my attention. Why should I actually be interested? Here, you need to clearly articulate the dream outcome they desire, paint a picture of the nightmare they face if they don't solve the problem, boost the perceived likelihood of achievement using proof like results, reviews, or guarantees, and highlight the effort and sacrifice required without your solution versus the ease with it.
That's a lot packed into value.
It is, but it covers all the key psychological triggers for desire. Finally, the call to action, CTA. This tells them exactly what you want them to do next. Click here, Call now. Reply interested. Go to this website, scan this QR code, make it super clear, quick, easy, and memorable. And again, leverage urgency, scarcity, and bonuses to encourage immediate action.
Call out value CTA. Very logical.
Yeah. The core insight: an effective ad strategically addresses attention, call out, desire, value, and action, CTA, in that specific order, tailored for a cold audience that needs convincing at each step.
That's a really comprehensive way to think about crafting persuasive ad copy, hitting all those different psychological triggers. Now, once you start getting leads coming in from paid ads, how do you actually scale your spending effectively? He outlines 3 phases, and controversially, the second phase starts with lose money. How does that work?
This is critical for understanding his approach to paid ads, and it definitely trips people up initially. The 3 phases are: phase 1, track money, get your tracking right before you spend; phase 2, lose money, invest in a money printing machine; and phase 3, print money. In phase 2, the lose money phase, you budget maybe 2 times the cash you typically collect from a new customer in their first 30 days, specifically for testing new ads. You expect to lose money initially on most of these tests.
Expect to lose. That's tough for entrepreneurs.
It is, but it's an investment mindset. You're testing maybe 10 different ads, hoping one hits. If an ad doesn't generate leads, you cut it quickly. But once you find a winner, an ad that's actually profitable, you 100x down on it, as he says. You pour budget into the winner. It costs money to build the machine that prints money, but the winners, the profitable ads, pay back all the testing costs and then generate significant profit.
Okay, so it's strategic losing to find the winners.
Exactly. The core insight: treating initial ad spend not as an expense, but as an investment in finding a repeatable, profitable money printing machine, a winning ad campaign, changes your entire approach to testing and scaling.
That's a bold mindset, but it definitely makes sense once you've found that money printing machine. How do you know if your ads are actually efficient, though? What are the key benchmarks he suggests tracking?
The main metric you need to track for paid ad efficiency is the ratio between the lifetime gross profit, LTGP, of a customer and the cost to acquire that customer. So LTGP-CA. LTGP is all the money a typical customer spends with you over their entire relationship, minus the direct costs of delivering your product or service. CA is simply how much you spent on ads to get that one customer.
Okay, LTGP to key. What's a good ratio?
He says a good ratio is at least 3.1 for a business to be truly scalable with paid ads, meaning for every dollar you spend acquiring a customer, you should expect to get at least $3 back in gross profit over their lifetime. He also makes a crucial point here. Many entrepreneurs think they have crappy ads, meaning a high CAC, when they actually have a crappy business model, meaning a low LTGP.
Yeah.
They're not making enough profit per customer to support paid acquisition.
Ah, that's a critical distinction.
Huge. The core insight: understanding your LTGP TA-CAC ratio is absolutely crucial for diagnosing whether your growth bottleneck lies in your advertising efficiency or in the fundamental profitability of your business model, LTGP.
What if your ads are technically profitable based on LTGP, but they aren't profitable initially due to cash flow? You spend $30 to get a customer who pays you $10 profit per month. You're in the hole up front. This is a common problem, right?
Very common. He addresses this directly with a concept called client-financed acquisition. The problem, as you said, is that the profit from the very first purchase is often less than the CAC, creating this cash flow bottleneck that prevents scaling. The solution is to structure your offers so that customers spend more than the cost to acquire and fulfill them within the first 30 days, basically, within one credit card billing cycle, ideally.
How do you do that?
You achieve this by immediately selling or upselling them more stuff right after their initial purchase. Using your example, a 15-month membership costs $5 to deliver. $10 gross profit month. Average stay is 10 months, so LTGP is $100. If your CAC is $30, the ratio is 3.3.1 profitable long term, but you're still down $20 cash up front. However, if you add, say, a $100 upsell right after they join, and maybe 1 in 5 customers takes it, adding $20 average gross profit per initial customer, now you break even on cash flow within that first 30 days. Your $30 cost is covered by the initial $10 profit plus the $20 average upsell profit.
And that unlocks scaling.
Exactly. It frees up your cash flow for essentially limitless scaling as long as the core LTGP to TAC ratio remains healthy. The core insight, strategic immediate upselling, can transform a cash flow negative but LTGP positive ad campaign into a self-sustaining, rapidly scalable growth engine.
Okay, that was a fantastic whirlwind tour of the core 4 advertising methods: warm outreach, content, cold outreach, and paid ads. They're clearly powerful on their own. But the real magic, The true leverage, he argues, comes from getting other people to do the advertising for you.
Yes, exactly. This section of the book pivots brilliantly from what you do to who you get to do it for you. Hormozi introduces these 4 scenarios of leverage, ranging from you doing everything yourself, which is high work, low leads, low leverage, all the way up to you getting a lead getter who then gets other lead getters, which is low work, high leads, and the highest leverage.
Lead gets getting lead getters.
Yeah. And crucially, these lead getters are not part of the core 4 methods themselves. Rather, you use the core 4 methods to acquire the lead getters. He identifies 4 main types: customers, through referrals, employees, agencies, and affiliates. He even shares this insightful story where his cold outreach goals were being missed. He thought the method was flawed, but the real problem was a high employee churn rate caused by a bottleneck in his hiring process.
Ah, the people problem again.
Exactly. By fixing the hiring bottleneck, his cold outreach sales doubled almost overnight. It proved that people are often the missing link to effectively scaling any lead generation method. The core insight: true scaling requires leverage, and the highest forms of leverage come from effectively recruiting, training, and incentivizing other people, lead getters, to generate leads on your behalf.
That makes perfect sense. Let's start with the first type of lead getter then. Customer referrals, which he just calls word of mouth. The dream, right?
Absolutely the dream. Hormozi mentions his own business was still getting referrals even when they turned off all their paid ads for a period. That highlights the immense underlying power of word of mouth. Referrals are simply the lowest cost, highest profit, and usually the best quality leads you can get. They tend to be worth more, higher LTGP because they trust you more coming in, and cost less, often 0 direct IC. And it's exponential growth, not linear. 1 happy customer brings 2, those 2 bring 4. Growth compounds rapidly if your referral rate outpaces your customer churn rate. This is exactly how companies like PayPal and Dropbox exploded initially.
Right, the viral coefficient.
Exactly. The core insight. A genuinely great product or service, combined with the strategic ask for referrals, can turn your happiest customers into your most effective and profitable sales force.
That's the ultimate flywheel, isn't it? Free, high-quality leads coming in consistently. But he says most businesses don't get many referrals, usually for 2 main reasons. What are they?
The first, and maybe hardest to swallow, reason is that their product simply isn't good enough. He's blunt. Most products are unremarkable, literally not worthy of remarking upon to others. He defines goodwill as the difference between the price you charge and the value the customer actually gets. To build enough goodwill for referrals, you must focus relentlessly on giving more value, not just trying to compete on lower price.
Okay, product quality is table stakes. What's the second reason?
The second reason is much simpler, and maybe more common. They just don't ask for them, or they don't ask effectively. Customers generally won't go out of their way to refer if you don't clearly tell them how, make it easy, and maybe even incentivize them. You have to treat getting referrals like making any other offer in your business.
Ah, so product first, then a proactive ask.
Exactly. The core insight: referrals are a direct reflection of both your product's excellence and your proactive engagement in asking and enabling happy customers to share their positive experience.
So once you've built that goodwill with a great product, then you need to actually ask for the referrals. He has some unique ways to do that, treating it like a specific offer, you said. Can you give an example?
Yeah, he gets quite creative. One example is offering 2-sided referral benefits like Dropbox and PayPal famously did. You basically pay your average CAC, but split it. Maybe you give $100 cash or credit to the referrer and $100 off the first purchase for their friend. It incentivizes both sides.
Okay, makes sense.
Another interesting tactic is to ask for a referral right when they buy. Literally, on the sales contract or the thank you page, include a spot asking for names of friends who might also benefit, maybe emphasizing that results are often better when people do things with Buddy. He even suggests using referrals as a negotiation chip during the sales process, maybe offering a small discount if they provide introductions to a couple of qualified friends right then and there.
Using it in negotiation, interesting.
Yeah. The core insight is be creative, be proactive, and make the act of referring a genuinely valuable and incentivized part of the overall customer journey, not just a hopeful afterthought.
That covers customer referral, clearly a hugely powerful, potentially low-cost growth engine if done right. Let's move to the second lead getter, employees.
Right. Employees, in this context, are people you hire and train specifically to get leads for you, using those same core 4 methods: warm outreach, content, cold outreach, paid ads, that you've likely already mastered yourself to some degree. This directly solves the too much work for one person problem that inevitably arises as you grow. It allows you to trade, say, 40 hours of doing the lead gen yourself for maybe 4 hours of managing someone else doing it, leading to potentially exponential scaling.
That's the leverage point.
Exactly. The ultimate goal, he argues, is to build an enterprise that can grow and generate leads without your direct day-to-day involvement in the execution. This requires a significant mental shift for many founders, away from nobody can do it as well as me to everyone is replaceable, especially me.
That's a tough shift.
It really is. Hormozi admits his own past mistake of trying to personally outcompete his employees on every task. He eventually realized, I couldn't do everything better than all my employees combined. His new beliefs became, if you want it done right, get someone to spend all their time focused just on doing that, and if I can do it, someone else with focus and training can probably do it better.
That's a crucial mental evolution for a leader.
Huge. The core insight. Your greatest leverage doesn't come from being the best doer, but from effectively delegating, systematizing, and managing lead generation through a well-trained and motivated team.
So how do you actually get employees to get you leads effectively once you've hired them? How do you train them?
He uses a simple but effective model for training called the 3Ds mental model. Document, demonstrate, and duplicate. First, document. Create a super detailed checklist or standard operating procedure, SOP, outlining exactly how to do the lead generation task. He even suggests recording yourself doing it perfectly.
Okay, clear instructions.
Second, demonstrate. You perform the task live, in front of the new employee, walking them through your documented checklist step by step. You answer their questions and adjust the checklist based on their feedback right there. Third, duplicate. The employee now performs the task themselves, using the checklist while you observe. You provide feedback, refine the checklist further if needed, until they can consistently get the desired result on their own.
Document, demonstrate, duplicate. Makes sense.
Yeah. The core insight, turning complex lead generation tasks into simple, clearly documented, and trainable processes is the key to enabling scalable, repeatable execution by your team.
Excellent. Okay, now for the third lead getter, agencies. This often feels like a necessary evil, or at least a mixed bag for many businesses. You mentioned Hormozi's first experience was actually very positive, paying $3,000 for one-on-one mentorship that taught him Facebook ads effectively in just 8 weeks. But his subsequent experiences often followed what he called a cycle of insanity. What was that?
Yeah, the cycle of insanity is probably familiar to many who've worked with agencies. You get pitched by the experienced senior team, you sign up, things go well initially,
Right.
but then gradually your account gets handed off to more junior reps, communication falters, results start declining, you get frustrated, and eventually you cancel the contract and start the whole process over again with a new agency.
Sounds painfully familiar for some, I bet.
It does. But what's fascinating here is Hormozi's specific, maybe unconventional advice on the right way to use agencies. He advocates using them primarily for one main purpose, learning new advertising methods or platforms quickly and effectively.
So not just outsourcing the work, but paying to learn.
Exactly. His recommended strategy is hire a decent agency to initially learn the ropes of a new channel, like TikTok ads or LinkedIn outreach. Then maybe hire a more elite, specialized agency to really maximize it for a period. But crucially, be upfront with them about your intention. You want to learn their methods, build your own internal team based on what you learn, with the goal of eventually beating the agency's results internally. Then you might transition the agency to more of a consulting role for a while before ultimately cutting them loose once your internal team is fully proficient.
That's a very strategic, almost mercenary approach.
It is, but it makes sense from his perspective. The benefits are twofold. You get better short-term results because you're leveraging their existing expertise immediately, and you get better long-term results because you internalize those critical skills and build your own capability.
B Corp.
Insight view agencies not just as a service provider to outsource tasks to, but as a strategic paid learning opportunity to rapidly bring new marketing expertise and capabilities in-house.
That's a really different way to frame the agency relationship. How do you pick the right agency if you're adopting this learning mindset? What should you look for?
He outlines 9 key traits, but a few critical ones really stand out, especially with this learning goal in mind. Definitely look for referrals from trusted sources who've had good experiences. Look for proven results, ideally with companies similar to yours or even prominent ones. A waiting list can actually be a good sign. It indicates high demand and suggests they don't take just anyone. Pay attention to their sales process. Is it clear, realistic, focused on long-term strategy, not just short-term hacks? And critically, how clear are they about communication? What do they need from you to succeed, and how will they report on costs versus results? Simple, clear updates are key.
Okay, vetting them thoroughly is crucial.
Absolutely. The core insight. Rigorous due diligence and crystal clear communication about your objectives, including your long-term goal of internalizing their skills, are paramount when engaging an agency strategically.
That's a solid framework for vetting agencies and maximizing their value beyond just execution. Let's move to the fourth and final lead getter he discusses: affiliates.
Right, affiliates. These are essentially independent businesses or individuals who tell their audience to buy your stuff in exchange for a commission on the sales they generate. Hormozi shares a powerful story from his Prestige Labs supplement company launch. Initial sales were okay, maybe $150,000 in 3 weeks, but they had $3 million worth of products sitting there.
Ouch. A lot of inventory.
It's a lot. But then, in the 4th week, sales just boomed, hitting $450,000. They started averaging over 300 orders per day, driven primarily by 400-plus active affiliates they had recruited. He argues that affiliates are among the highest leverage lead getters possible because they create this exponential scaling effect almost automatically. Well, each new productive affiliate adds another independent stream of leads and customers, often from audiences you couldn't easily reach yourself. This leads to rapid, compounding revenue growth with significantly less direct effort required from your internal team compared to other methods. The core insight affiliates, when managed correctly, can build a massive external army of motivated sellers, leading to explosive, compounding growth with incredible leverage.
He provides a case study with his software company, Alan, that really illustrates this nested leverage, doesn't it?
Yeah, the Allen example is mind-blowing. He scaled that company to $1.7 million per month within just 6 months, primarily using 3 distinct levels of affiliates. He had one super affiliate who was bringing in about 10 agencies per month as sub-affiliates. Each of those agencies, in turn, was bringing in around 50 local businesses as their own affiliates or customers. And each of those local businesses was generating leads from end consumers.
Wow, layers upon layers.
Exactly. One super affiliate resulted in potentially 2,500 end consumer leads per month flowing into Allen's ecosystem. 1 by 10 by 50 by 5 equals 2,500, rough math. Each super affiliate became this incredible compounding asset. The core insight, the nested leverage potential of affiliates, where one affiliate actively recruits or enables others, can create an absolutely explosive, self-sustaining growth loop, unlike almost any other model.
That's a true army of external sellers working across multiple levels. How do you actually build that army? What's one of the most critical first steps?
One of the most critical steps, right after identifying who your ideal affiliates are, businesses whose audiences overlap with yours, is to make them an offer they can't refuse. You need to advertise to potential affiliates just like you'd advertise to any other customer segment, but your offer isn't your end product. It's a new, easy way for them to make money or add value to their existing customers. Your offer needs to clearly call out their business type or their customer base. It needs to show immense value, how they can make more money from their current customers, maybe even get more leads themselves, the dream outcome, with a high chance of success, PLOA, without needing to build the product, deliver it, or handle support. Low effort sacrifice. And they can start selling almost immediately, short time delay.
So crafting an irresistible offer for the affiliate.
Exactly. The core insight. Successful affiliate programs don't just expect affiliates to promote them. They treat the affiliates themselves as valued partners and make them an absolutely irresistible proposition that leverages their existing audience and assets.
And once you've recruited and activated these affiliates, how do you keep them actively advertising and, more importantly, integrate your product into their offer so it becomes a long-term sustainable lead source, not just a one-off promotion?
That's the key to long-term success. Integration. Making your product a natural part of their business. There are a few ways. Affiliates could give away your lead magnet, like a free guide or sample, when their customers buy their core offer, making the affiliate's offer more valuable. You then handle the upsell of your core offer to those leads.
Okay, they use your magnet to enhance their sale.
Right. Or affiliates could sell your lead magnet. Maybe it's your book, an event ticket, a low-cost service, or a sample product. The affiliate keeps all the cash from that initial sale, making it highly attractive for them. You then profit from upselling your core offer to those buyers later on.
Interesting. They get the initial cash.
Yeah. Or, of course, they can directly sell your main core offer. For example, in his Prestige Labs case, Gym Launch, an affiliate, sold access to gym owners. Those gym owners then acted as affiliates, promoting a free 28-day fitness challenge to their members. During that challenge, the gym owners sold Prestige Labs supplements and continued selling them to new members long term.
Ah, integrated right into the gym's process.
Perfectly. The core insight: sustainable, long-term affiliate growth comes from strategically embedding your product or lead magnet seamlessly into the affiliate's own existing business model and customer journey.
Okay, so in conclusion, for these lead getters, customers, employees, agencies, affiliates, it's really about finding and incentivizing other people who can consistently generate leads for you, leveraging their own assets or audiences, and ideally creating a compounding business model.
Precisely. They represent the next level of scale beyond what you can do alone with the core four. Customer referrals offer that exponential, low-cost growth. Employees give you direct control and allow you to run the systems. Agencies can rapidly teach you valuable new skills that you can then internalize. And affiliates, once activated and integrated, can operate almost autonomously as a massive external sales force. You use the core four methods to acquire these lead getters, and then they often use the core four methods or just their existing audience access to get you leads. It's all about leverage.
That's a fantastic overview of the different leverage points. So you've got the core four methods, and you understand the power of these different lead getters. But the big question remains, where do you actually start? What's the practical path from zero to building this 100-member lead machine?
It's a great question, and Hormozi shares a really profound lesson he learned personally about this. He was at some high-level entrepreneur event feeling completely overwhelmed by all the jargon and complex strategies being thrown around. He finally asked someone a simple question: "What courses are you taking to learn all this stuff?" And the answer he got was life-changing. The person said something like, "At this point, I don't expect to learn anything new from courses. I have to learn by doing. And I do by spending a percentage of my revenue every month to test new campaigns, new channels, new landing pages, or sometimes just plain crazy ideas."
Learn by doing, by testing, not just consuming more information.
Exactly. That emphasis on learning by doing and relentless budgeted testing is the real secret sauce, he argues, not finding some magic bullet course. The core insight: true mastery and breakthrough results in lead generation come from active experimentation and dedicating resources to continuous improvement based on real-world data, not just from passively consuming more theoretical knowledge.
That's a refreshing, action-oriented take, shifting from passive learning to active experimentation. He also shares his personal highest ROI habit stack that supports this kind of execution. What is it?
Yeah, his personal highest ROI habit stack is pretty simple, but intense. It includes waking up really early, like 4 or 5 a.m., getting right to work immediately, no complex morning rituals, no routines, just work, and crucially, having absolutely no meetings scheduled before noon.
No meetings before noon.
Wow. Yeah, this creates this long, uninterrupted block of time for his most important, most productive work. He basically asks, how can you lose if you dedicate those peak morning hours to focused execution? He emphasizes that while waking up early isn't magic in itself, the uninterrupted work time that immediately follows uninterrupted sleep is incredibly powerful for getting meaningful stuff done.
That sounds like a recipe for some serious deep focus.
Definitely. The core insight: prioritizing and protecting large blocks of deep, focused work time, free from distractions and context switching, is an often underestimated superpower for entrepreneurial productivity and execution.
So putting that focus into action, what's the practical, actionable roadmap he provides for getting started on building this lead machine?
He provides a wonderfully simple 5-step, one-page advertising plan. It's designed to be iterative. Step 1. Pick the type of engaged lead to get right now. Are you focused on getting customers, affiliates, employees, or maybe finding an agency? Start with one.
Okay, pick a target lead type.
Step 2. Pick rule of 100 or open to goal. Commit to your daily advertising actions. The rule of 100 is his challenge. Do 100 primary outreach actions like calls, emails, posts every single day for 100 days straight. Or set a clear daily action goal you will hit consistently. Step 3. Fill out the advertising checklist for that specific daily action. Use the frameworks from the book to guide what you say or do. Step 4. Do this daily action relentlessly until you have enough money coming in to comfortably pay someone else to take over that specific task.
Okay, do it until you can delegate it.
Exactly. Step 5. Go back to step 1. Now, maybe make employees your new target lead type. Use the same process, steps 2 to 4, to hire someone to do the task you just proved works. Then repeat the cycle. Maybe focus on getting customers again with your new employee, or start tackling a different core 4 method or lead getter type.
It's a loop. Pick, Commit, checklist, do, delegate, repeat.
Precisely. The core insight is that building a lead machine isn't a one-time project. It's an iterative, compounding process. Start simple. Prove a method works through your own consistent effort. Then systematically delegate and scale it, freeing yourself up to tackle the next bottleneck or opportunity.
That's a wonderfully clear and iterative plan.
Yeah.
Very actionable. And he also provides something called the 7 levels of an advertiser to kind of illustrate the scaling journey from zero all the way up to potentially $100 million.
Yeah.
What are the earliest levels and how do they progress?
Yeah, this roadmap is great for helping you identify where you are right now and what the logical next step is. Level 1 is simply your friends know. This is where you start, using basic warm outreach. One core offer, one ideal customer avatar, maybe just one platform where your contacts are. Hormozi himself started right here.
Okay, level 1, warm outreach basics.
Level 2 is consistently let everyone you know. This is about maximizing your personal work capacity. You're still doing most of it yourself, but you're hitting your maximum consistent output with warm outreach and probably adding in either consistent free content posting or maybe your first small paid ad campaigns like Hormozi did. Level 3 is where the leverage starts. Employees help do more advertising. You've maxed out your personal inputs. Now you hire your first key people, maybe a videographer for content, a cold caller, a media buyer for ads specifically to help you advertise profitably and do more volume than you could alone.
Moving from solo effort to initial team leverage.
Exactly. The core insight from these early levels is that the journey to $100 M plus in leads is a systematic progression. You start with personal effort to validate the model, then you immediately move to leveraging other people's time to scale that validated model.
And how do you push past that initial team leverage to get to the really high levels he describes?
Level 4 is a crucial milestone. Your product is good enough to get consistent referrals. You focused on building goodwill, improving your offer based on feedback, and now you're seeing maybe 25% or more of your new customers coming directly from referrals. This validates your core offer quality and allows you to scale other advertising more confidently with a bigger team. Hormozi apparently doubled down on referrals around this stage.
Okay, product market fit confirmed by referrals.
Precisely. Level 5 is advertise in more places, in more ways, with more people. Now you start expanding. First, maybe new audiences or placements on your best performing platforms. Then you add completely new platforms or new lead getter types, like starting an affiliate program, or activate additional core 4 activities, like adding cold outreach if you were only doing ads. Hormozi mentioned expanding his paid ads to target potential affiliates around this stage. And level 6 is hire killers. This is where you bring in experienced executives and department heads, maybe a VP of marketing, a head of salespeople who can own and grow entire advertising methods or platforms without your direct day-to-day involvement. You give them strong incentives and autonomy. This is how Hormozi scaled acquisition.com past $100, then $200 plus ARI.
Hiring true leaders to run the machines.
Exactly. And level 7, well, he jokes he'll edit that after he crosses $1 billion.
Something to look forward to.
The core insight across these later levels is that sustained, massive growth requires continuous adaptation, strategic expansion across multiple channels and methods, and critically, the ability to hire and empower top-tier talent to drive growth autonomously. And remembering, as he caveats, that real business is messy. You have to try many things, fail often, and stick with it long enough to find what works and compounds.
This roadmap provides an incredibly clear, albeit challenging, vision of what's possible. What does that ultimate 100-emitter-plus lead machine actually look like in operation, according to his vision?
He paints a picture of this integrated, self-sustaining ecosystem. It's an aspirational target, showing the synergy of all the elements we've discussed. You'd see dedicated media teams scaling tons of valuable free content across all relevant platforms, regular, effective offers going out to large, engaged, warm audiences, a ravenous audience that makes new product launches immediately profitable. You'd have sophisticated teams running and scaling paid ads across multiple platforms, dedicated cold outreach teams hitting specific high-value targets, affiliate managers nurturing and growing an army of external partners, recruiters constantly finding talent. Underlying it all, a product or service so good that a third or more of your customers are actively referring others. And overseeing it all, an executive team driving growth autonomously, allowing the founder to focus on the next big vision, the ultimate result, having literally more engaged leads than you can possibly handle. The core insight is that the pinnacle of a lead machine isn't just one tactic working well. It's the integrated, self-sufficient, and exponential growth driven by multiple, well-managed systems and highly leveraged people all working in concert.
Phew, that was an absolutely incredible journey through the world of lead generation, wasn't it? From really understanding what an engaged lead truly is, to mastering those core 4 advertising methods, and then learning how to multiply your efforts exponentially with lead getters. We've covered a massive amount of ground, and hopefully you listening are walking away with a completely new perspective, maybe some actionable ideas on how to get people to genuinely want to buy your stuff.
Yeah, this deep insight dialogue has really driven home that successful advertising, the kind that builds empires, isn't about luck or some secret magic trick. It's about deliberate strategy, relentless consistent effort, and a commitment to continuous learning and adaptation. As Alex Hormozi constantly reminds us, advertising always works, it's only a matter of efficiency. By systematically focusing on doing more of what works, doing it better, and testing new things, you can methodically remove not enough leads as the bottleneck holding your business back. And that blueprint from Hormozi really emphasizes a crucial underlying mindset, doesn't it? That idea of die with nothing left to give. This philosophy of creating abundant value, whether it's in your free content, your core offer, or your strategic partnerships, seems to be what underpins his entire approach to building trust and achieving seemingly endless scale.
So what does this all mean for you, the listener, right now? It means you have a potential roadmap. You have choices. Whether you decide to start or restart with warm outreach, or dive deeper into creating truly valuable content, or maybe brave the world of cold outreach, or finally commit to scaling with paid ads. The key seems to be pick one, commit to it, and focus on doing more of it, consistently. Remember Hormozi's rule of 100. 100 primary actions every single day for 100 days straight. He guarantees that will get you more engaged leads than you have now. And if you feel stuck, go back to the source material, back to the fundamental problem you solve, and work your way forward using these frameworks.
And maybe for a final provocative thought to chew on as we wrap up. If your desire to succeed is truly greater than the obstacles you face, and if you can learn to embrace the inevitable losses and failures not as defeats, but simply as feedback, how quickly could you truly transform your lead generation? Especially knowing, as Hormozi suggests, that perhaps the last skill you ever need to learn is how to get other people to do everything you need for you. That's powerful leverage. And for those eager to continue this exploration, Alex Hormozi really does walk the talk of providing immense value. He offers a wealth of completely free resources over at acquisition.com, free downloads of his books, video trainings, his podcast, even career opportunities within his hashtag Mozination community, as he calls it.
He really does practice what he preaches about giving value. Well, that's it for this deep insight dialogue. We sincerely hope you found these strategies and insights from Alex Hormozi's 100M Leads as compelling and, more importantly, as actionable as we did. Go forth, apply these principles, start testing, and begin building your own $100 million lead machine. Until next time, keep digging deeper.